TRT Benefits Timeline. So in what order can one expect some benefits from TRT? And before we start, if you want to get some TRT and hormone optimization merchandise, the link is in the description of this video, and during the month of January, use the code NY21 to get 21% off each order.
That's a good question. Assuming TRT is administered correctly, the biggest asset that I always tell our patients that they can have when beginning is not just a level of enthusiasm and open-mindedness to improve, but I want them to humble down expectations, especially initially, and that comes down to patience. You have to have patience. That is going to be a virtue in order to attain success. First and foremost, you're going to expect the cognitive and psychological aspects of the therapy to kick in far sooner than the physiological aspects. Your body, unfortunately, doesn't respond on a physiological level the same way as brain chemistry does, which can be very imminent. And the initial effect, and I almost run a risk of kind of ruining this here for a few people by even speaking about it, but the initial effect is typically placebo, which may even occur as early as the first administration dose of the medication. And placebo is a real thing. I do have a friend who did a full dissertation for his PhD in biochemistry on the placebo effect versus a controlled group of medication. And he noticed that the placebo effect group actually showed significant improvement over a group which was told that they are receiving a placebo. So the psychological effect of placebo and excitement will certainly help you there. This is something you can expect literally within the first week or two of treatment if you have a positive attitude going in. The actual neurochemical effects that you're going to experience are generally going to kick in between weeks 4 and 8 from what we've seen clinically, and they're usually going to come in a sense of well-being, increased motivation, increased energy in terms of drive and motivation, maybe some improved sleep, and certainly an increase in libido or sexual desire. These are the initial impacts that we see with patients when they come in for their initial follow-up after 8 weeks of beginning treatment. The other aspects that are going to improve, such as an increase in muscle density and strength and bone mineral density, and all of the other physiological aspects, immune increase, and protein synthesis, and all of the things that are going to give you a stronger body in a physical sense, generally will take from 6 to 12 months after dialing in and remaining on treatment. So there have been DEXA scans for bone mineral density that have shown an increase all the way up to a full year. And I believe that the last time I looked at one of the studies that showed the impact of improving or optimizing testosterone in a hypogonadal male who was previously deficient showed that the actual total amount of improvements do not subside until a full 3 years on therapy. So you can expect to continually improve. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to physically or psychologically feel every single improvement, but just know that your body is healing, repairing, and becoming better, probably for the course of a couple of years after you begin your therapy. And at that point, it's probably going to slow down the deterioration rate, which is essentially what this therapy is all about. It is to slow the aging process and give you not just longevity, but also quality years within that longevity.
Okay, that's clear, thanks. Consider becoming a channel member for exclusive features, like loyalty badges, early access to new videos, funny stuff like rough cuts and bloopers, members only photos and status updates on the community tab, and members only live stream chat. On desktop, use the join button next to the subscribe. On mobile, use the join link in the description. Alright guys, well, do this next. Click on one of these thumbnails to learn a ton more about TRT and hormone optimization. Thanks.